Chat.
Yes,
Go.
It's time again. It is the Wrestling Guild with me, Chris Mary Holtman, and my partner, Nick Fairplay Anderson, the third. And we're going to talk about Impact from the 19th of October. I don't know if we can call it GFW. We can't call it GFW Impact anymore because it was today. I think for the first time we're podcasting when information has come, instead of after. So information has come before, but I guess it was announced yesterday on Twitter that Impact, Anthem Entertainment, who owns Impact, has severed their ties with GFW completely. Jeff Jarrett was taken on a leave of absence, and now he's been completely fired. He's gone from the company, and GFW is gone. So the question is, what's going to happen now? I don't know if you heard this.
No, I actually didn't know, but wow, that's some major news right there.
Yeah, the thing is, it was announced on Twitter as well. And there's a lot of speculation. Some of it is that I guess they had Jeff Jarrett was at some show in Canada, and he was just completely messing it up. I guess talking about that he might have. I mean, rumors are that he has a drinking problem and stuff like that. And that's kind of so that Anthem, and they never. The thing was that Anthem was supposed to buy. It was said that Anthem was supposed to buy GFW.
Mm-hmm.
But it was only there was nothing actually ever done. There was just written on a paper. There was no official deal. And so now they're dropping GFW completely. Jeff Jarrett went out and said that Anthem doesn't have any money, that they're broke. Anthem replied and said, no, we're not broke. We're doing a whole tour of Canada after Bound for Glory. So I don't know. The thing is that what this really does is that a lot of people, I mean, on this podcast, we try to have give Impact a fair shake. We basically talk about the England performances. We don't talk so much about personal problems. I mean, sure, we talked about Alberto El Patron and his domestic abuse allegations, and that reflects poorly on Impact that you have a champion that does that. It reflects poorly on Impact that you have a person like Jeff Jarrett, who is, I mean, awesome really in other aspects, but just is battling some other problems. But a lot of websites will talk crap about Impact. They won't even talk about Impact. Mostly they'll just talk about WWE, and it seems like whatever WWE does, they can forgive because they're big. But that's, I guess, how people react. It's like people say, well, if I don't hear a song on the radio, then it must not be a good song. Oh, it's kind of like the same thing. If I don't see Impact, then it must be crap.
Must be shit. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, obviously, this is sad because it reflects poorly on Impact again. It's done for a long time. There's all these rumors, and I don't know what this means. Is it still going to be called the Global Wrestling Network? Because of Global Force. I mean, there's a lot. Are we going to see more Amped? Are they still going to keep that?
I mean, what do you say?
I don't know.
You speak. Okay.
I don't know what to say about that. I'm just kind of speculating what this means. Some people were saying, I saw online that people were talking now that GFW is out of the picture, then all these deals with AAA in Mexico and Crash and Pro Wrestling Noah and all that stuff, that's going to kind of go out the window because those were deals that were negotiated by Jarrett or whatever. But I don't know if that's true.
It's really hard to say. Yeah. I mean, like you said. But holy whoa.
There's a lot of stuff going on. But hopefully, they'll put on a really good show on Bound for Glory. And hopefully the right people are. I mean, and that's why we were talking about that we could find the Global Forged episode, the latest. And I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Did they take it down? The other Global Forge episodes are there. And is Scott D'Amore, who has been involved in GFW, is he not going to be involved anymore in Impact? I don't know. There's a lot of aspects that we don't know.
But why haven't they come clean with this? They should tell us what's up.
Yeah, I don't know.
I agree. So
we'll see. But let's not dwell too much on that. We don't want to do a downer episode because I found that this episode of Impact was a lot better than last week's.
True that. Yeah. We'll see.
And then the thing is, what is most noticeable about that is that there wasn't a lot of downtime. There were no recaps, basically.
Yeah, no recaps. However, there were a lot of Bound for Glory promotions.
Well, you gotta promote your big show.
I mean, 5 or 4 times through a match. Through an episode. But overall, the episode was great.
Yes, let's see. And it's 2 weeks to Bound for Glory.
And they're already hyping like this. Wow.
Well, they've got to hype it. I mean, you look. I mean, the WWE is basically hyping WrestleMania already, and that's next year. So,
all right. Okay, fair. Yeah, fair.
So we start with Moose and Stephan Bonner bringing their loot, their booty, their prizes to Impact, and Lashley and American Top Team.
Not happy.
They're not happy. They're not happy.
Then we have our first match?
Yes. It starts with a little Johnny Impact and Chris Adonis situation, but then we have Chris Adonis versus Johnny Impact. How did you like this? I
think it was a great match. I think both did great, and they were on the same level.
Yeah. And I think this is fun because, I mean, to be honest, I haven't seen that much of Chris Adonis, really. I find that most of the times that he's in a match, he's either in a tag team match and he's not used very much, or whatever matches that he's in one-on-one have been quite short. So I haven't seen, and I didn't watch him when he was in WWE, when he was known as Chris Masters, and I mean, I've seen him sporadically. So I mean, this was a good showcase. But I mean, he's not a flashy wrestler.
No.
I mean, he's a big dude, big arms, and he just and he has the worst finisher of all. He's got the Master Lock or the Adonis Lock or the Mordetsky Lock or whatever you want to call it, is basically a full Nelson.
Yeah.
I put that on my kids.
I put that But did you see Johnny, though? Johnny, he jumped from the ropes into the ring.
Yeah.
And kicked him.
Yeah, that was awesome. Wow. And he did it was a very innovative move to escape the Adonis Lock, too, because he kind of jumped over the ropes and hung Adonis on the ropes. But Johnny Impact wins with a countdown to Impact. I guess that's what the move is called, where he counts. Still, the move is fine. Although this whole 5, 4, 3, I mean, you got to put your opponent out. The moves that he puts on his opponent before he climbs the rope. I mean, I could have gotten that. I mean, I could have woken up out of that. It just takes too long. But anyway, I mean, the thing is, I like my moves to be, I like finishers to be quick
and just boom.
Yeah, and hard. I mean, a top rope 360 somersault splash, whatever you do, is fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's just getting up to the ring or up to the top rope should be a little bit quicker because it takes a while. You can't take 5 minutes to get up.
And that is his So, but I think Johnny won, right?
Yeah, Johnny won with the countdown to Impact. Eli Drake comes in a nice white outfit.
Doesn't get a good welcome.
No, he gets kicked. He gets beaten down by Impact, and then he just rips off his clothes.
Yeah,
so he's just standing there in his underwear.
That was funny.
And it's just he has his. It was funny because he still had his belt on, his belt was stuck through. And then Impact whips him. Adonis comes in or wakes up.
Yeah,
they beat down Impact, and then Garza Jr. comes in with a steel chair and just cleans house.
That was cool.
We'll see what happens here. But maybe we'll see. I'm thinking maybe we'll have a Garza Jr. Adonis match or something like that.
That could definitely work.
Or if it's going to be Drake or Drake and Adonis versus Garza in Impact. I don't know. We'll see where this goes. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what role Garza Jr. is going to play in all of this. And I also think that it's an interesting choice that they put Garza Jr. in the heavyweight division, going for the world heavyweight championship instead of putting him in the X division, where I mean he's more
more to the X division.
Yeah, the style of
this. Yeah, that's weird. I didn't think about that. Right.
Yeah, we'll see. Bound for Glory promo. Alberto El Patron. Are you still hyped?
When I say Alberto, I'm hyped.
Just seeing him
straight off. Boom.
You forgive everything.
It's totally cool.
No, it doesn't matter who you beat. I forgive you, Alberto.
As long as you're there, I'm good.
Okay. And then we actually had an interesting thing because Pluto TV is a TV station or TV channel that I guess there's an app too for it where you can stream Impact. And I don't know where you get it. I don't think that we can get it in Europe. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know where Pluto TV is. I haven't really done any research on this.
Another planet.
Maybe on another planet.
Yeah.
Alien. But it was kind of fun. I like this because it was a Pluto TV rewind. And I mean, on Explosion, we get to see old matches because that's kind of the format. So you get like an old Slammiver. Like the latest one they put up was, I think it was Storm versus Conley, I think was the match for the latest edition of Explosion. And with that was a Slammiversary match from before with Eric Young and Magnus. This was a good match too. But this one, you had a Pluto TV rewind highlighting Sting versus Samoa Joe, which was actually from the first Bound for Glory that I ever saw.
I was about to say, I was about to say, this is some old school.
This is old. I mean, this was, and I think they had like one of the biggest crowds there.
Yeah, it was a big one. And they were like fighting in the crowd.
They were out in the crowd, and that's an awesome. And they used to play that all the time. The Samoa Joe just running from the top of the stairs. Yeah, and launching himself with a kick. He must have hurt like hell for him.
The other guy is laying on the
Sting
stairs.
was, kind of crawling up the stairs. And then Samoa Joe comes.
It was cool.
Kicks him in the mush. With it, and he must have landed hard on the steps. It must have been so painful.
Yeah. But that's so cool to see. Yeah. It was definitely cool for me that I haven't really seen anything of this.
And I think that should be... When we start talking about Global Wrestling Network shows, that we'll watch one of these things, like and review it. Anyway, then we go to a 5-way match from Cancun.
Yeah, what was it? Hard Rock? Was it?
It was the Hard Rock, they called it. I don't know what Hard Rock it was, if it was Hard Rock Cafe or whatever. But it was in Cancun anyway. Phantasma versus Tejano versus EC3 versus Storm versus Edwards. That was a fun match. It was short, but it was fun, and it was like interesting because it was 3 Impact guys versus 2 AAA guys.
Yeah, so they could have Team Impact.
And I think they were trying to do. They were trying.
Of course, yeah.
Phantasma's dad was there.
Oh yeah, Phantasma with his. Oh god.
Well, that's how they do it in Mexico. I mean, if
everyone has their.
Well, I mean, if you're a luchador enmascarado, as they call it, that you wear your mask all the time because you protect your secret identity. A lot of times, people don't know
who's
the name of the person, and like there's been stories of like luchadors, old Mexican luchadors who were like even buried in their masks because that's who they were to everybody else. So it's like like if you have like a famous luchador who wears a mask and nobody knows what he looks like for real, and then he dies, and you're gonna have a big funeral for him. You can't have him without his mask because people just like, I don't know who this guy is. They could have just shoved anybody in this coffin.
Oh yeah, so cool.
So a lot of times they don't have it, and you'll see them walking around. I mean, I'm sure that they walk around in the city without their masks at times.
Oh yeah,
but like a normal person,
goes into the back with the mask.
But this was a good match. I thought it was a fun back and forth. Obviously, the Impact guys tried to work together. It didn't really work. They messed up, and Tejano wins. He even like Phantasma hit some move, and then Tejano knocked him out and pinned.
What was it? I think it was Storm and Tejano. They were teaming.
They were maybe for a little bit.
Why?
I don't know. Because, I mean, it's everybody versus everybody,
Yeah,
but you gotta have allies.
No, it's not. No, it's Team Impact versus Triple.
But that wasn't the match. It was a 5-way match.
They're buddies, goddammit.
Apparently not, because we hear that later. Anyway, Tejano wins after some shenanigans. OVE is in Mexico yet. I like what these OVE pros, because they're so funny. I mean, they're
funny.
Pretty hilarious.
Funny and serious at the same time. I like them.
Yeah, they go down to Mexico. Go down Mexico way looking for Conan. Conan's like hanging out with some honeys.
Mm-hmm. Looks really good.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, if they won't even speak to me, put your titles on the line.
Yes. So they had to put their titles on the line. We get to, and then we go back to EC3, Edwards and Storm. They're fighting amongst themselves. They have to. It's actually mostly Storm and EC3.
Yeah, I mean, Eddie's always neutral.
Yeah, Eddie is just like, come on, guys, we got to be on the same page.
Team Impact.
Team Impact. Team Eddie Edwards.
Team Edwards.
So yeah, that's a problem. And I mean, I like this. I mean, I think it's kind of fun that at times they come, like, they're enemies, but because they're Impact wrestlers, they're kind of friends and they do things together, but it's not working out. I like it. I like the drama of it. I think this is
interesting.
Well, this compared to like last week where there was a lot of talking and stuff like that, that just kind of got dull and got boring. Here, on the other hand, when they throw in the drama, they do it right. It's short, it's sweet, it's a little bit like verbal, it's heated and stuff like that.
It's a lot more interesting.
It's a lot more interesting. And then there's more fighting. Dan Lambert and Scott D'Amore are fighting Cornette's office, and Cornette's just like, I'm out of this. I'm out of here. This isn't for me.
Yeah, it was a heated moment. Holy shit! Yeah,
yeah. And Cornette likes a good fight. So.
Yeah.
So next we have an X Division match. It's Andrew Everett versus Desmond Xavier. How did you like this match? Because I guess they call it the Cult of Trevor now.
the Cult of Trevor.
The whole like all those guys from North Carolina.
They're all
Conley. I mean, I think they grew up together. I mean, I know that Everett and Lee have a history together, and I mean, obviously Conley is from North Carolina as well, so they're probably from the same scene. But yeah, they call it the Cult of Trevor.
So I mean, Andrew didn't stand a chance. I'm sorry, but Desmond, he does some really good moves and he killed it. And I mean, Andrew, he got maybe some good moves here and there.
The thing is that it's a difference. I mean, Andrew Everett, he's very capable in the ring. He's a good worker. He does good, but I just think that Desmond Xavier looks more like a star. He's got the look, he's got the moves, he's just got everything. He just looks. He's more charismatic without needing to talk. And Andrew Everett, as we know several times, is not a good talker. And it's
Andrew.
Well, it is what it is. Xavier wins. Even though Conley and Lee interfere, he manages to win. With a kind of flip Pele kick. He does like a back flip and then kicks Everett in the head, and it's over. Boom. And that's basically it. It was just a match to have a match. I think it was.
Yeah, it was a bit short, but I mean, you saw a lot of Desmond, so I'm good.
Yeah, it was nice to see Desmond Xavier back wrestling because we haven't seen him very much. Vignette for was it Trevor Lee in Tijuana? No, or what is it? Yeah, he's in Tijuana.
Yeah,
Trevor Lee. He's going to have a match, so he's just there talking. Yeah, because he walks around with it.
Yeah, he sees this poster.
Yeah, the marquee.
On the marquee on
and he gets upset that he's not there and he's just walking around.
I'm not supposed to be here.
He's just walking around being goofy. Well, we'll see. I think that meant that we were going to see a match next week from Tijuana. OVE still looking for Conan, and they were told that they have to fight, as you said. They accept the challenge. So we're going to see more of that. Moose and Stephan Bonner just polishing the gold, just sitting with those belts.
What should I say? I mean, they're in deep shit. I'm just saying that. You don't know.
Yeah, and then we get into the big segment of the night, which is Grado versus and Joseph Park. Grado comes in, calls out Park.
Being pissed as fudge.
Why is he so pissed?
I mean, basically, from my understanding, Parks doesn't really, pay him for the work he does, and just, grabs all the money, and we can see that from the latest episode.
Yeah,
the cars and the girls, the chicks. So yeah, he is really pissed. I've never seen him like this before, and yeah, he calls out Joseph Parks.
Yeah, he said he's gonna stand trial. He wants the audience to be the jury.
Yeah,
and the Grado's going to be the executioner. And he said, it is fun because Joseph Park comes out and he's like he's like the nervous kind of guy that he usually is, and he says he's sorry, but he also says that Grado wouldn't be in the U.S. if it wasn't for him. Okay. Grado wants the contract, the visa, but no, he doesn't. The Joseph Park has a little stipulation.
He basically has a match. He wants to give Grado
a match. As Grado gets to stay, he gets his visa. Otherwise, he's out of the company. So it's basically a loser leaves town match. It is fun. It's interesting how Joseph goes from being very nervous and stuff like that to being very, very serious at the same. So they make a match for BFG. Grado signs it, but there is a caveat. Mark has two surprises for him. What does he have? What do we have in store for poor old Grado?
It's not a regular match.
No?
It's a Monster Ball match.
Monsters Ball match, which is a specialty match that Abyss invented.
And that pretty much, you can kind of figure out what's going to happen. He's not going to face Joseph Parks.
No, he's going to face
Abyss,
the monster Abyss, and exactly. And then Abyss's music hits, and that's actually quite awesome. I thought that this was really good. Made me really psyched. Now I don't know. Usually Abyss usually fights somebody who is as crazy as he is when it comes to like some of the best Monsters Ball matches have been against like Raven. He wrestled a guy named Relic, even a character named Black Rain. All people that are usually more like hardcore specialists,
but not like Grado.
And he did wrestle Matt Morgan in like a match of 1,000 thumbtacks or something like that. But the only one who ended up in the thumbtacks was Abyss, because I don't think that Matt Morgan was interested in landing in landing. Actually, the worst one that I saw was Judas Messias versus Abyss in like which I think it was a Monsters Ball match, but was like big plywood boards with barbed wire. That was crazy. It was so crazy that they weren't actually allowed, because it was supposed to be on a show, like a pay-per-view, but they weren't allowed to do that. They weren't allowed to do that in the state that pay-per-view was on. It wasn't allowed.
Then what did they do?
So they actually taped it in the Impact Zone separately.
Are you serious? Oh, gee.
Yeah. So he'll face Abyss in a Monsters Ball match. We'll see what the Grado. I don't think. Grado wrestles for. When he began wrestling, he wrestled for ICW, Insane Championship Wrestling from Scotland, and they're pretty. They can be pretty hardcore. So I'm sure he's used to it. So.
Is he going to stand a chance against Abyss?
I don't know. The thing is that if he loses, he's out of the company. I'm wondering if they're going to do that.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see. We have more American Top Team Lashley and Moose vignettes. Grado, running for his life, jumps in the car and tries to listen to some music.
Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't work. And then...
it was awesome because he hit and then 666 came out.
Oh, yeah.
Station 666. And it was Abyss's. It wasn't his Abyss's music. And then Father James Mitchell, have you started watching any of the Asylum Years matches on the GWN network?
I saw him on on a picture and over a cover, but I don't really. No, I haven't seen him in any matches or at like some match, but I've seen him in Impact before.
Yeah, he was in Impact before, and I mean James Mitchell was he had like a he's always been kind of this dark character, and he used to have when Impact first started. When TNA first started, he had like this group called the Disciples of the New Church. Where they were all like kind of like dark and gothic and wore chains and stuff like that. And then he was Abyss's handler. In the storyline, he's actually Abyss's father.
See what?
In storyline wise, he's supposed to be Abyss's father. Or something like that.
So he comes to Grado and says you're
he basically does. He's just like you are screwed, and Grado runs. I think this is fun because I like this. I like the differences that there's so many different things. I mean, you have the thing with OVE, kind of gritty Mexican kind of style rivalry with LAX. You have the American Top Team thing which is like its own style, and then you have like the dark kind of style with Abyss and Grado. So this will be interesting to see. And then we have the match OVE versus Black Diamond and Black Danger.
That was a cool match.
Yeah, it was a good match. It was a lot of hardcore. And this is the kind of style I want to see in Impact as well. This is the kind of wrestling I want to see. More hard hitting, some crazy moves. Yeah,
this is a good move.
OVE, the one move which was like basically a suplex from the turnbuckle into a power bomb. And then the finishing maneuver, OVE win with a spiked tombstone.
That's good.
First, they kick the guy in the head when he's hanging upside down.
And but I mean, I'm really impressed with OVE because I haven't been. I was at least saying like, "Oh, OVE isn't that good. They don't look that good." But now, when they're showing themselves, I am so impressed. Wow,
absolutely. And then we come back to the Impact Zone. JB is going to make an announcement. American Top Team comes out. And this was interesting because, I mean, sure, there was a long talking segment, but I thought that Dan Lambert did pretty well here. I thought that there was what he was talking about, like his relationship to wrestling, bringing out all these titles and talking. And there's nothing more fun for a wrestling fan, like a real wrestling fan, not somebody who just watches like WWE, but a true wrestling fan. There's nothing more fun than talking old school wrestling, like wrestling history. Yeah, because there's such a rich. Because obviously, it gives wrestling a little bit more legitimacy.
Yeah, I can understand that. But yeah, I didn't think it was boring in any way. I think it was, like you say, it was interesting,
and he was good at talking too. I mean, he could really grab the audience, and he penetrated through
call them morons.
Yeah, well, that's
idiots.
But he was talking about all these titles that he had and who had worn them and stuff like that. And I mean, I thought it was fun when he mentioned Ric Flair. Everybody went woo! I think that's kind of Ric Flair's thing. So he shows off his collection. And then they make a match. It's going to be King Mo and Lashley versus Moose and Stephen Bonner. Lambert says that he's going to destroy wrestling, or they're going to destroy wrestling, which is interesting because Stephen Bonner isn't a wrestler; he's an MMA guy. So it's only Moose.
Great going there, buddy. But yeah, I mean, they really come into the Impact Zone and they dominated. No one can really touch him.
Yeah, because Moose and Bonner come out with the titles. All that happens is they get their asses beat. Security comes in, nothing happens. I mean, it's like
I like how security comes after like 10 minutes.
I thought it was funny that like Caleb Conley and Andrew Everett came out. They couldn't have gotten to somebody else. Like these guys are supposed to be bad guys. They don't care. They probably.
And then they come in and they just get fucked in the beginning. Oh god! Oh, it was funny.
Yeah. But that's basically it. Nothing more happens after that. OVE continues to stay in Tijuana. They talk to Conan, and they get beaten up. They all end up in the ring. They meet Conan in the ring. Conan calls on his boys, and OVE gets beaten up. Basically,
Pretty
they think
much.
that they're going to win. They're just like Roadhouse, which is a Patrick Swayze movie from the '80s that you haven't seen because you're too young. But basically, they think they're going to kick all the Mexicans' asses, but they don't.
Yeah. But, I mean, yeah, I still think OVE has so much balls. They have so big balls because they go to Tijuana and they actually call out Conan.
I'd be a little afraid to go to Tijuana, even if I wasn't wrestling.
I was about to say. So, yeah, very impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah. And then we have a Global Forge thing, and we can't talk about that because we haven't seen the episode of Global Forge. So even though they said it was on YouTube, we haven't found it yet. We can speculate the reasons why.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to the main event, which is Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary. And the thing is that this was an interesting main event. I saw again that this was and I told you last week, this was a lower rated Impact. This was a lower rated. This one lower than last week. And probably because last week's Impact was so dull.
Yeah, so people don't want to watch the next one.
Yeah, so then they're just like, why do I need to watch the next one? Because it wasn't that fun this week. So then I can skip it. Now this one is they need to build on this. They need to if they, even though they had, people are going to talk. They probably hopefully talk about this Impact episode because it was good, and people are going to watch it, and then they might want to watch the next one. So if they watch the one week before, which was boring, and then they don't watch this one because of it, but they hear that it was good, and they decide to watch Impact next week, and that's boring again. Then they're just going to be like, "What?"
Then they're screwed.
So they need to build on this. Anyway, how did you like this match?
I mean, these two individuals have been. It's the same guys. It's the same females like wrestlers that, Valkyrie shot missed at Rosemary, right?
Yeah.
So this is just storyline.
Yeah.
I think Rosemary was more pissed this time.
Mm-hmm.
She did better. She improved herself against Valkyrie because Valkyrie, she's big, good, and all that.
Strong.
And she did her little sneaky move. I don't know what you call it. There next to the ropes.
Oh yeah.
She goes like
the tarantula. It's called.
Love it.
You love it. You would mind. What? Being caught in the tarantula.
No, I'm good. I don't need to. But yeah, I mean,
I think it was kind of like it's the fight between your two favorite girls, right? They're gonna win the love of Nikki Fairplay. That's what they're fighting for.
But yeah, I mean, what do you think about the match?
It was good. I'm still thinking that they're going to set one of these matches up. They should set it up for Bound for Glory. I don't know if they will, but they should, because I mean, this ended up being like they could have gone so much harder. As we said, we talked about we watched Smash Wrestling. Where Rosemary fought, and I've seen Lucha Underground where Taya Valkyrie has fought. So we know that they can bring another level of intensity and violence to it, and I'd like to see that more. That being said, it was a good match. Taya Valkyrie wins with a stomp, and then she she's going to hit her finisher, but the Rosemary missed her. So I mean, obviously this is going to continue. It's not done here.
Yeah, it's definitely not done. But I mean, it's hard because she is such a big girl, Valkyrie. Because it's hard. What are you supposed to do against her? There is no kind of moves that will work against her. Kind of.
I think Rosemary is the only one who could beat her. Maybe Sienna.
Oh yeah, maybe Seattle. So I'm trying to say that I'm not like blaming Rosemary for losing.
Oh, okay. You still love her.
I still love her. Yep. I'm still cool.
So that was the episode. I would definitely give this a B plus because I thought it was really good. They hit it out of the park on this one. The main event could have been a little bit better, a little bit being hard hitting, but I think overall it was a good show. I like that they bring in that they're in other places, so you get to see other wrestlers. I guess I read this morning, I think it was on WrestlingInc.com that they had taped a one night only where the rest of the Impact wrestlers are in a Canadian federation. So it's kind of like Impact versus this Canadian federation. So there's going to be a lot of different other matches. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Always nice to see, because now we're getting into a place that there's not that much influx of new talent. Right.
Yeah.
So we're seeing the same kind of constellations over and over again. Mm-hmm. The thing is that we haven't seen Braxton Sutter for a while, kind of wondering what's happened to him, stuff like that. We know that certain wrestlers have left the company now. Robbie E is gone. Eddie Kingston is gone. But they weren't being used either. So
that's the main issue.
So, yeah. And I think they could have, and I think they could have done something good with it. But, yeah, it is what it is. But that being said, I told you to watch, use the app and watch the GWN, and this is kind of a new segment in the show. We're going to be talking about that. I was thinking, so for next week, I'll try to dig out a Monsters Ball match from one of the, so you can watch it, and we'll talk about it next week, so that you're prepared.
Prepared.
Like in Scar in Lion King, you'll be prepared. So you watch. They announced last week that they had dug up some footage of Shinsuke Nakamura, who is now in the WWE. He's a big deal. He's a big deal wrestler, from when he was on Explosion. This was 5 years into his wrestling career. He's an MMA guy too. Nakamura. So he has a different style. He does a different look, and he fights Elix Skipper, who was a big deal. I mean, he was a big part of TNA in the beginning. He was in a team called Triple X with Christopher Daniels and Low Key, and they had and we're going to watch that match also. One coming his LAX versus Triple X in a cage. It is off the chain.
Off the chain. Cool.
So how did you? It was a short match, but how did you think? What did you think of this match?
It was really short, but rather than that, both did great. I think Elix, had some good moves.
I think his slingshot over the rope into a clothesline on Shinsuke Nakamura was awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't say that I saw very much offense from Nakamura in this one. I didn't think that he looked very convincing.
He took a lot of hits, though.
Yeah.
He took a lot of hits, and there were some really high. It was like, would you have got that in your stomach or something like that? We would be crying on the floor.
Probably.
So yeah, he took a lot of hits. I'm happy with that. I'm happy. But Nakamura got him in the end, pretty much.
Yeah, he hit him with his finisher, which is different than the finisher he has now. His finisher now is called the Kinshasa, which is a knee to the side of the head on his opponent.
Okay.
Also known as the Bumaye. Back in the day, when he was in New Japan, it was called the Bumaye, which basically means kill him.
Kill him.
And I don't think that the WWE wants.
They're like, you guys stop that, bro.
So it's called the Kinshasa.
What, murder him now?
No. Kinshasa is a city in Africa. The Bumaye actually comes the reason why he used that word is because there was a famous fight called the Rumble in the Jungle. Muhammad Ali versus George Foreman or something like that. Can't remember who he fought, but it was a Muhammad Ali match where Muhammad Ali got the crowd to shout "Bumaye, Ali, Bumaye," which means Ali, kill him in Swahili.
Well, he did, yeah.
So
smart.
So there's a lot of layers to that.
There's, yeah.
How would you rate this Explosion match?
I think it was I would say, actually, to be honest, a B.
A B.
I am happy. It was short. Yeah, definitely agree with you. But it had really good moves for those only couple of 2 minutes they were actually fighting. It was good moves, good defense. I'm happy.
You're happy. Good. So next week we'll talk about a Monsters Ball of some kind. I'll see what I can dig up. I'll see hopefully one with maybe. I saw that somebody had put up a poster from years back where it was. I think it was Abyss. It was Jeff Hardy. I want to say it was maybe Raven. I can't remember, but we'll see. Well, I'll try to find a bloody one.
A gory one. Yeah.
A gory one for you. Because the later ones, They've toned down the blood in the past 5 years or something like that. But I mean, the early Monsters Balls they're harder than hardcore. There's one I remember, the one I think with Raven and Abyss versus Relic and Black Rain. They shove thumbtacks in the mouth of Raven and punch him.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I don't know what to say, but it's wrestlers in the end of the day. So what do you expect? It's crazy.
What do you expect?
Crazy.
Well, that's it for this week. We are 2 weeks coming into Bound for Glory. I'm excited about Bound for Glory.
I am more than excited.
I'm trying to stay positive, even though there's a lot of crap going on with the Impact, a lot of rumors and stuff like that on the internet. Trying to be good. Try to stay away from that talk.
Stay positive.
Well, you can follow us on SoundCloud and YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
You name it. Yeah.
You name it. You can find us there.
Find us anywhere.
For Nick Fairplay
Anderson.
Nick Fairplay Anderson III. My name is Chris Mary Holtman, and we will talk to you next week.